Hey there, everyone. This is Samuel Johnson, and welcome back to the Lyoko Retrospectives. And today we're going to be discussing episode 20 of Lyoko, The Robots. And as the episode implies, the threat of the day is robots. What happens is that, like in the trap, Xana takes control of the factory again. Only in this case, he mainly relegates it to the production line, and pretty much with this, he ends up making robots. It starts with one, but it does start going. But he does make more. But he does like more, at least two more. And pretty much the robots are just designed to search and destroy. In this case, find the Lyoko kids and just end them. However, coincidence of coincidences, there's also a robot competition at Caddick. In this case, the main contestants are Herb, Sissy's nerdy lackey, and Jeremy, who have both created robots of their own. Herb created this little robot called Iron Sissy, which is just this hideous tribute to Sissy, while Jeremy created a robot called Kiwi 2. Which is pretty much what it says on the tin. It's a robot version of Odd's dog Kiwi. As such, they both enter the competition, and neither side is allowed to physically fight the other. So as such, the game is really just a game of basketball, which is kind of weird, but whatever. If this is a school that is able to have a robot competition and Jeremy and Herb are able to make robots to the degree that they did. I suppose it makes sense because both robots are actually pretty capable and pretty handy, and are pretty capable, pretty handy. So they're able to work it out. However, just before Jeremy can win the tournament, Kiwi 2 ends up exploding, and as such, Herb is able to take the last point and win. Jeremy's wondering what's going on. Well, it turns out Millie and her friend wound up recording the whole thing. And yeah, it turns out that Herb cheated. He went just before Jeremy can land the final shot with Kiwi 2. Herb had Iron Sissy shoot out a bolt that shot right through Kiwi. As such, if I learned this, would bring it up bringing this straight up with the people running the competition, which in this case would probably be Jim, because learning this information would immediately rescind their win. But rather the kids decide to bring it up with Herb themselves before they can get a word in Xana's first robot attacks. As such, the group when the group realizes that it's after them, they opt to split up, with Yumi and Ulrich staying behind at the school to try and distract the robot, while Jeremy and Odd go back to the factory. As such, they take a back way through the school to get there. But when they arrive, it turns out that Xana had the robot mess with the terminal that connects to the supercomputer. Ergo, they can't act. Ergo, they're cut off from Lyoko temporarily, which is really all that it is. Because they actually resolved the issue rather quickly by just connecting a few wires. So, whatever. But yeah, pretty much. But yeah, in the meantime, while they're dealing with that, Ulrich and Yumi are trying to figure out how to take down the robot, and unfortunately, since Jeremy isn't there at the moment, they have to go to the next best source, which in this case they decide is Herb. As such, they go and get him while they're running with the robot, and they tell him that we need your help, we need taking this thing down, but Herb initially just blows them off, saying they're not his friends, so he doesn't really care what they want, but his tune quickly changes when they tell him that they have proof that he cheated during the competition, and how would Sissy feel if she learned that he did that? Ergo, he begrudgingly complies, and they end up and after evading the robot again, he manages to build like a little drone that they manage to sneak into the robot by luring out into the woods, and just before it can attack. And before it can hurt anybody, they have it fly in and burrow into the robot, and which allows it to pretty much take the thing down from the inside. As such, with the threat taken care of, Ulrich and Yumi head to the factory, and Odd managed to get into Lyoko and helped Aelita take down the robots that were the monsters that were chasing Aelita. But in the meantime, I'm just supposed to check something. But in the meantime, Yumi But in the meantime, they soon learn. That's when they learn that Xana's making more robots, as there's one waiting in the rafters of the factory. As such, Yumi goes down to the scanner so she can get into Lyoko, where while Ulrich goes to check the assembly line, and yep, Xana's already got another robot waiting, except this one's armed with wrist mounted guns. As such, Yumi pretty much this becomes a non-issue as well, as Yumi manages to get rid of the final monsters there hounding Aelita, and she's able to get into the tower and deactivate it, stopping the robots in their tracks and allowing them to reverse time. Which, with that added benefit, it allows Jeremy to expect Herb's cheating move and easily maneuver around it. And I would feel more bad for them abusing the system, except, well, he cheated first, so at this point it's just evening the odds, so, yeah. Okay, overall, what I think of the episode, I think it's perfectly fine. I do admit I kind of like the whole robot angle, and we get some more forward thinking from Xana. Being him as since Xana is stationed out of this factory, it's kind of interesting to see him try taking advantage of that. In this case, just like in the trap. Only in this case, he decides to go for something more. In this case, he doesn't just let the kids come to the factory. Instead, lets them go to the. Instead, he creates something that goes after them. In this case, the robots, which kind of makes sense more when you think about it, because Xana's a virus / AI, so it kind of makes sense that he would have robots for this sort of thing. And something I kind of like is, but when it comes to forward thinking, is the fact that Xana attempts to sabotage their means of getting into Lyoko. We have seen Xana attempt to do this before, like when he took control of the bulldozers to attack the factory, which I still think was a bad move because that would have destroyed the supercomputer as well. Or when he created when he created the fake Yumi, who was actually trying to unplug the scanners so that they wouldn't be able to get out of Lyoko, or they'd be trapped there, or so forth. Or maybe they wouldn't be able to get in. I don't know. But bottom line, it's just that something like that I think makes. It's just that I like that kind of forward thinking, setting up a threat to take care of the biggest thorns in his side, while also trying to ensure that they won't be able to get into. They're also trying to ensure that they won't be able to stop him. Which I like that. I like stuff like that. It's nice just seeing the bad guy being smart, so to speak. And I'm not saying that I want him to win. I'm just saying that it's nice when they actually do try to think through things logically. So I like that. As such, when it comes to the robot plot is just sort of your standard B plot. It's just there to help and give the story more presence, and it's fine, I guess. Definitely kind of shows her. Definitely shows more. It definitely kind of has her be more prominent, but I'm gonna be honest here. While the episode does end with them trying to give Herb the benefit of the doubt because he helped them take down the robot, I'm sorry to say this. I still don't like him at all. Like, in the case of Sissy, while I know she's definitely a bitch, the show has shown that she has more layers to her. When the going gets tough, she knows that it's not all about her. She knows that there are other people out there, and she does do her part to help out when things happen. But when it comes to her, yeah, this guy's a weenie. And we have seen that consistently. And again, you can say that in times of crisis that it's okay to be afraid, but this guy is just super paranoid and just distrusting of everyone. And this episode does not help that regard. From him cheating in the robot competition to him only helping the Lyoko kids when they say they're gonna blackmail him with the evidence that he cheated. It's just a dick move, and I get. Big move. And before you say, why would he want to help? He's a kid against a robot, against a large robot. Of course he wouldn't be. Of course he would. You wouldn't want to do anything. Yeah, fair enough. That's a good argument. A normal person would probably run away in terror from a robot, despite even if their intelligence, if they do have above average intelligence. But his reasoning isn't, I'm sorry, I don't want to fight that thing. I think it could possibly kill me. No, his reasoning is, you're not my friends, I don't want to help you. It's a dick move, and it doesn't help his case. And yes, his genius does help take down the first robot, but genius does not equate to good morals, so that's all I'm saying. So, yeah, just kind of a dick move. And while I'm on the subject of Sissy's group, there's something that happened in this episode that I think I kind of need to address. during the episode during the initial robot competition after Herb won, Sissy was of course overjoyed because, well, while she thought the robot was ugly as sin, she still wanted him to win because she didn't want to be a laughingstock. As such, when Herb won, she hugged Nicholas, and Nicholas groped her. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's not like the whole gropey thing that you see, but as she's hugging him, he's clearly feeling her up, and yeah, it makes her uncomfortable, and she pushed him away. And this is unfortunately something that I kind of need to address within Code Lyoko as a whole. Code Lyoko. While it doesn't do this very often, there are a couple times in the show that I've noticed where they like to try and push the envelope on what they can do with this stuff. Having the kid, like in the first episode we saw Yumi in the bathroom. While we didn't see anything, it was definitely the fact that they still showed that is kind of weird. We saw Sissy in her underwear, and there have been a couple times when we've seen them just kind of be in less casual situations where they have shown more skin. And again, the show doesn't do this very often, but it's something that you do kind of notice in a couple places, and I'm not gonna lie, it's uncomfortable. Especially considering the fact that these are kids. I really don't like that they do that. And again, this doesn't make the show bad by any means. It just means that it's just something I've noticed, and it's something that it's been something that I've been waiting to address because I knew the scene was coming, but I needed to wait. And again, I'm sorry. I really don't want, and it's just uncomfortable. And especially with the fact that these are kids. And again, I'm not saying that there can't be kids with romance or stuff like that. Like, there are plenty of shows where we've seen kids or teenagers develop romantic feelings for each other. Kind of going with the vlogs I've done when we went in the show Danny Phantom, where one of the themes throughout the show was Danny and Sam's growing relationship until in the final episode they finally committed to actually being in a relationship. That was one of the things that I kind of liked about that show, and that we've even seen in other stuff, like with Avatar and so forth, with Aang and no, not dang, Katara. Sorry, I blanked on her name for a second there. Again, I'm not against romance between them. But the thing, they're kids, they're consenting. It's just that when you try to add that extra layer to that, it goes from cute to kind of creepy. And again, I'm not saying that Lyoko is creepy. It's just that those scenes are uncomfortable. And I'm not uncomfortable. And there are still scenes, and they still do that. But the thing is, they still do the romance angle between kids fine. Like we've seen the stuff with Yumi and Ulrich still having feelings for each other to the point where they get angry at each other. Which, by the way, Ulrich is no longer dating Sissy, so I guess a month has passed. Or the stuff with Jeremy and Aelita. Again, last episode, we actually saw some nice, good development in that relationship. That was nice. I'm just saying that extra layer kind of pushes the envelope and turns something that was initially cute into something that's just kind of weird, and I don't like it. So, yeah. Yeah, again, doesn't hurt, again, doesn't make the show bad, it just means that I'm just saying that this is something that is just ugh. That's all. So yeah. But anyway, as for the episode itself, the episode itself, I still think it's just fine. I do like the whole stuff with the robots and the so forth, and again, it is nice seeing Xanabi having some slight forward thinking. I like stuff like that. And I do like that they do take steps to try and take down the robot. And the only reason that doesn't become a permanent solution is because Xana's not stupid. He makes more. So I like that. It's just that the B plot. It's just that the B plot in the real world is just sort of like one of their regular plots, just there to help fill up the episode. While they do show that Herb is more capable of doing more, at the end of the day, he's still kind of an ass, so, yeah. Overall, perfectly fine episode, decent pacing, creative way of taking down the threat, overall, perfectly fine episode. So, yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. I'm Samuel Johnson, and I'll see you next week. Take care.